lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from Vancouver, Canada. So welcome. Today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2020, and this is video number 60. I wanted to really get in here yesterday and do the recording and upload the podcast, but a notice from our landlord came under our door. I live in a block of apartments, we're up high, and the notice read, please have your windows closed. You are getting your windows cleaned over the course of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I didn't want to start recording and then find that we had a guest outside at the window thinking, what is that person doing in there talking to themselves while there's no one else in the room? So to avoid any embarrassment, I thought I'd hold it off, and there was no window cleaner. So today that we may get a visit, I'm crossing my fingers that we don't, but let's just roll with that. Hey. If you're new to this channel, no, this is not a video podcast set up to talk about window cleaning. It is a yarn crafty podcast that I am putting together to explore my yarn journey. So that's all things knit, crochet, and a little bit of hand dyeing of yarn. I also do acquisitions, so I'll showcase what I buy. Maybe there's a sale on, so I'll do all that sort of stuff too. So if you're inclined to enjoy that type of content, please sit back and enjoy the next little while I present my wares and talk about some things. And if you are so inclined and do like it, please show your appreciation with a thumbs up and think about joining my Fiverr community. So for all of those Fiverr friends who have also come back, welcome back. It's great seeing everyone, and I love reading all of your comments. You do help me out on so many pickles that I get myself into. So thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. And in this podcast, what I'm going to be talking about is two finished works, a work in progress, where I'm going to showcase it again, but to reveal what I've done on it, but also a couple of learns that I have along the way, which I think maybe might be beneficial for anyone starting out and finding they are stuck somewhere. So yeah, it's all about sharing and communicating. So let's get stuck into some of these wonderful projects. I'm kind of racing ahead with my thoughts, so I've got to stop and just, I don't know, relax a little bit. So what we have here is the Chevron Blanket. Oh my God, it's done. The ends are woven in and it is even washed. So it is beautiful and bouncy. The stitch work is relaxed. Oh my goodness, it's so squishy. I can just see me and hubby like cuddling up underneath this, watching videos, or if we go camping by the campfire. It's an amazing Chevron blanket. I love it so much. Hubby also says that this is one of his favorite pieces. And I've only been crafting with yarn, like knitting, crocheting, for I think 15 months, 16 months. And I've got like maybe 80 projects, and to hear that, oh my God, it's so inspiring when someone that you care for recognizes that you're making ground in a craft, or that they're appreciating your yarn craft. So thank you, hubby. So let's talk about this Chevron blanket. What I loved about this knitted pattern that I went with was that it's reversible. So a lot of chevrons that you see out there in patterns, they need to lay a certain way to enjoy the stitch work, whether it's all say the knit stitch on one side, and then when you turn it over, it's all the purl. So you get like a different feel throughout the right side, wrong side. Whereas this pattern that I found, it goes through and alternates the knit chevron with a purl chevron, and so on and so forth. So either way, it's reversible, so you can enjoy it both ways. And I absolutely loved and was frustrated with this pattern, and I would say that the frustration was purely because towards me making the full length, I would say maybe up to around 6 feet of this was enough chevron, but I went and did another 3 more feet, so it's 9 feet in length or 2 meters, and it is about 3 feet wide, or maybe just over a meter wide at a guess. So yeah, really love that it's finished. Can't wait to be using it and appreciating the blanket. So let's talk a little bit about the pattern. I will link down below as well, and it's from I always get these words around the wrong way. It's from a design group or a design company called the Mouse Army Mitten Co. And their pattern that they have is meant to be for a scarf. So they give you two widths of the scarf that you could run the pattern with, and the longer width that that was in the pattern, I doubled up and I made it into, as I said, it was 3 feet in width. So if you're looking to create a scarf, or if you want to do a blanket, that pattern's great because it stretches and it's versatile, that you can add more, also subtract more. Oh my God, find my words, Gary, find my words. So the yarn that I used in this was, let's have a look. I used the most intricate one that I chopped up was the Chevron Big Cakes, and it was in the colorway Cookie Crumble. And if you've seen Chevron Big Cakes, they have large color change outs, and I chopped this particular one up and it was full of grays and speckles and charcoals, and I'll just show you what I used in it. So this was from the Chevron Big Cake in the Cookie Crumble, also this charcoal gray, and then there were a couple of other grays, like this gray was from the Chevron Big Cake as well. So I used that whole skein, or the cake I should say. The next one that I used was the Studio Classic by Nicole in the colorway Cream Speck, and I used 2 and a bit of the 100 gram ball. I think it was 100, or it could be 200 gram ball. Yeah, I think it's a bit bigger, 140 grams. So I used 2 and a bit of that, and that's this one here. And the blue, seeing that we're there already, came from Paintbox, and it was in the colorway Dolphin, and that's the Paintbox label there. The colorway is 236, and it's in Aran. Simply Aran is the collection. All of these yarns are 4 weights, and this one here, the mustard color, was Briggs & Little Heritage. Look at what I did to that label. I just brutalized it. And the colorway is gold. And this green one here was from a monster ball that I bought from a tent sale from Spinrite, and that was last October, I think. And I used, the ball was 900 grams, but I used 150 grams in the colorway Forest Floor or Eucalyptus. I can't remember which one it was. I also used a different gray here because I ran out of the gray, and the way that I was designing this pattern change out in color was I was going beige, gray, bright color, beige, gray, bright color. So I ran out of the gray from the Chevron Big Cake, so I supplemented more of the gray in the Hobby Lobby's Yarn Bee, and the collection's called Soft and Sleek, and I believe I used about 3 of these balls to supplement the extra gray, and the colorway is called Silver Mist, so it has that speckling in it that I really liked. So yeah, that's the blanket. I did a little bit of funkiness or a change out here because I had part of the Chevron cake had this bluish gray, and I wanted to just add a little bit of interest, so I did 2 rows of this bluish gray in amongst the Nicole, the Studio Classic Nicole, the cream speck. So those are the yarns that I used in this blanket. So yeah, love, love, love that make. The next thing that I'm going to showcase is another finished crocheted item. And you saw this in the last video, so podcast 59. I had started it and I was making it to a pattern called the XY scarf. And it's by the designer Johanna Lindahl. Anyway, I'll link that pattern that I started this piece to. And then when I got to, it's a triangular shaped pattern. When I got to, I think 6 inches of the pattern, so it starts here and it worked its way to here, I was thinking it was a thick corduroy and it wouldn't be such a great candidate for a triangular shawl or scarf. So I wanted to make it a rectangular. So I started my decreases down here and I was crocheting the chevron, well not the chevron, I was crocheting the bias of this strip here. So I was crocheting through all of these beautiful colors and different yarns that I alternated, and I crocheted all the way down to the tip here, and I was like, I'm going to go back up the other side and create another strip and join as I go to create a chevron. So when I was coming back, I was thinking I had it correct, but I did not. I didn't have a chevron happening. I just had straight up and down stripes. So I discovered that after about 3 inches of doing up and down stripes, thinking, oh, I've got this, you know, I'm creating the chevron. So I had to make up my mind what I wanted to do, pull it back or continue, and just sort of go and create the angle myself with the up and down stripes. So vertically up and down needed to decrease from this point down so that I could then go back in and fill in the missing piece with the right angle. So that's what I did, and I thought I'm going to leave this in, and I told myself afterwards it's a great design feature, you know, it doesn't have the I guess the chevron happening until further up, but it's on the tip. It creates a bit of an interest, a bit of a border, so I went with it, even though I thought, you know, it's a mistake, but I'm just going to learn from it and live with it, because now I know how to do a directional change with my strips. So I'll just showcase it. I love the colors. What I used in this yarn was Premier's spun color, or spun colors I should say, in the colorway Mallard, and it hasn't been washed or blocked, so the ends are kind of curving it a little bit. So I'm using the Premier spun colors, the colorway Mallard, and I'm using Ferris wheel in the colorway Buttercup, which is a Lion Brand's yarn, and I'm using Hobium yarns in the collection that they have called, what's it called? Kartopu, and in that they have a brand called Angora Naturals. Oh my god. It came so easy before. Now I'm stretching my brain capacity. But this is how it worked up. It's lovely. What I liked about the make as well, when I did the strip and then went up the spine and did the other strip, is that I loved the idea of the different yarns coming together to the point. So I wasn't restricted to having the same yarn going up and back like this. So one of the benefits of this make was that I could do such a thing. I could then go like this with one type of yarn and go like that with the other type. So yeah, that's the little end feature that I tell myself was on purpose, but it was really a mistake. And the other thing that I learned from making this was that you have to be very conscientious about like where you're putting your hook to make the join. with a bias, because if you put the joins too close together, row after row, you'll find that your edge starts to taper into the center where the spine is. Even though you'll have the same count in stitch work across the chevron, going back and forth, it will start tapering in because it's accommodating that you're scrunching up your join sections too close together in the spine. If you are too far apart after a number of rows, you'll see that the edges starts to fan out from the spine. So those are my concerns and learns that I had when I was wrapping up the other end of the scarf. See here, if the ends were too bunched up together, this corner would come in way quicker than finishing at the tip. And likewise, if they were too far apart, this corner here would not meet the tip. It would be fanning out way too much. So that was a great learn for me for this particular exercise. And I love the results of the colors. Amazing. So that concludes the 2 finished objects for the week, and now I'm going to move into the work in progress that I have. And I've showcased this before, but I just want to keep you up to date with the progress of it, and also talk to you about a little bit more of the learn that I'm making and the discovery about also me as a crafter and also a person intending to wear this garment at the end. So what we have is a knitted pattern, and it is the Stephen West Drangy pullover, and I have gotten up to half, I would say maybe a third of the body part now in the tube that I'm knitting around and around. It's just the basic stockinette, and I have done all of the yoke and all of the fun I guess stitch work change up here, creating these ridges. And I'm in 2 minds. Like, I don't have many pieces that are bold and wonderfully loud like this in my wardrobe. I believe it's my conservative side in the wardrobe wins out most of the time when I am dressing for an occasion or finding that I'm sort of like lounging around at home. So this to me will be a new item in my wardrobe that is definitely a louder piece. But I am going to be making my mind up when I finish this. I'm thinking that I'm back and forth all the time with, do I continue? Should I finish? Should I frog it? But I really, really like the texture of the fabric. I love it. I love the texture. I'm just not too sure whether it's going to be a garment that I wear, and maybe it's some sort of change up in my wardrobe that I need to start exploring as well in makes that I make with large and bright colors like this electric blue, turquoise blue, mixed with green and foresty colors. So yeah, I am going to finish it and see where it takes me in the realms of like whether I wear it, how it wears up, whether it washes well, and also all of the new things that I'm discovering are invaluable. So a little bit about the yarn, even though that I do feature that in my other podcasts, I'll go over quickly. I'm using this foresty green color here, is a Noro yarn, and it's in their Kotori collection in the colorway Labyrinth. And if you need to know the number of this colorway, it's 7. I'm also mixing that section here with a charcoal gray. So you'll see every 4th row is this charcoal gray. I'm trying to repeat the ridging here with the color work as well. So it will go through a series of steps that repeat throughout the whole garment. And that gray color is from Hobium Yarns, and it is in their, oh, I gotta look over there. I think it's called the Jeans Art. Their Jeans Art yarn. It's like a tweedy yarn, and it has a heathered quality and a little bit of tweed in it as well. So I really, really like the mix of that together. And this turquoise blue here is an Ice Yarns that I purchased on their website, and it comes in a pack of 8. So those are the 3 colorways that I'm using within this garment here. And as you can tell, from the last episode, I was somewhere here in the yoke, and now I've separated my sleeves and I'm just doing the tube for the body, and it's straight stockinette, so love that. It's kind of mindless. I can just concentrate on not tangling my yarn balls that I have with this right now. And the learn for me for the week on this one was doing another cast on. So when you're at the separation of the arm and you need to kind of like then create the tube for the body, the pattern is asking you to do a special cast on. Without giving too much away for the pattern, I did learn a new cast on, and I will include the link to that cast on technique. It's called the cable cast on, and I did watch a couple of videos on YouTube to learn how to do that cast on method, and the one that spoke to me the most, that was the best quality of picture as well as very easy to understand. If I can find that one, I'll link that down below. So if you're up to a pattern as well that you can that asks for that specific cast on, you can find it through the ease of access down below. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying that. Now I'm going to move into talking about a happy mail that I received. Oh my God, I am so happy, but I'm the worst person to hold off if I'm told to wait for a certain date. I wasn't told to wait to open this online, but if I am, like at Christmas, or someone sends me a present across the seas and it reaches me earlier than the day I'm like a birth date or whatever, I'm gonna open it because I get so excited. So anyway, I already opened this. It's been with me for about a week, and it came in the post in this, and it's from one of our YouTube people out there, and her channel is called Affordably Crafty, and her name's Kim. Hi Kim. And so I received happy mail from Kim. So if you haven't seen Kim's channel, she's new. She's probably been around for maybe 2 months, I'm not sure, but she's got some great videos about how to stretch your crafty dollars further. She goes in to do store walks as well as reviewing products. She's just learnt how to crochet while she's been in lockdown. So March 13th was the date that she said that she was in lockdown, and she's began her craft as well. So she's got wonderful finds there on in her area where she goes to when she does her craft purchasing. And one particular one that I absolutely love is the Peter's Patchy store in Rhode Island. Holy smokes, if we had that here in Vancouver, I would go absolutely nuts. They have their yarn on cones, and it just seemed like bins and bins and bins of wonderful cones of yarn. So thank you, Kim, for finding those magnificent stores out there for us to explore that we may not have heard of before. So and she also does some dyeing as well. So I'm going to be talking about some of the things that she sent me. And before I get into the items, I need to find where that card was. I was organized. I swear I was. Here we go. So she sent me this card here. Lovely penmanship, by the way, Kim. And this is what it looks like. It says, "Welcome to the garden with a beehive." And the note inside is wonderful. I loved it so much. I won't share that with everyone, but just going over a few things. She's in Massachusetts. She just started crocheting, and her YouTube channel just recently as well. And she is enjoying doing her yarn dye, and she is definitely saying that she's going to continue. She loves exploring the possibilities with those yarn, the dyeing technique. And seeing I'm talking about the dyeing technique, in her package she also sent me this beauty here. Look at that. Holy smokes, Kim, this is amazing. So the note on the label says, "Hand dyed with dandelion flowers, by Affordably Crafty. And I guess the label here is the brand of yarn that she used to hand dye the base. It's called I Love This Cotton. I believe that's a Hobby Lobby brand. And it's so soft. I got an exact project that I'm going to use this for. I had dyed up some skeins of yarn in a charcoaly, chocolatey color, and I'm going to do some color work with Kim's hand-dyed daffodil and my chocolatey brown. So we'll see what happens with that. The other thing that I absolutely love, Kim, you have been watching my channel. This is Noro. It's like a book of patterns. Now, I don't know where, Kim, you found this, but this book is amazing. So it goes through different pullovers. So we've got some hoodie pullovers. We've got some, let's have a look. Oh, longer kind of dust coat pullovers. Sorry, cardigans. We have ribbing ones. Awesome, awesome. So I can show you these because they don't have the pattern alongside. This is the one I'm going to make. It's a pullover V-neck with a collar. So I don't know what they call that collar, but maybe it's a polo collar. And that's the one that I'm going to do with some of the yarn that I purchased from Michael's recently. And it's their cottony silk yarn. And it also has other things like little hats and baskets that you can make. Absolutely love that. Thank you so much. Blankets, socks, amazing. So I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. The other book that she sent me is Quick Knits, and it talks about all different novelty wares and decor. So we've got like a little bit of decorations in love hearts and what do we have here? Snake scarves and pillowcases. Awesome, awesome. There's probably around, I'm going to say, maybe close to 30 patterns in this book. And I will use that for Christmas presents, and I have two little nieces that would love some of the makes in here. The rest are all to do with dyeing and also, I guess, recording some notes. So we have here Shoot for the Stars pad with a little magnetic strip on the back so that it can go up on the kitchen fridge or anything metal. So that's great. And enamel pins here, which are paper clips. I use paper clips as my stitch markers. I know it's not very fancy, is it? But these are going to be used as my stitch markers. So thank you for that, Kim. Awesome, awesome. I got some dye up stuff as well. So we have some tubes that have like squirting spouts on them. Great for dyeing and injecting dyes into cakes if you're doing some cake dyeing. So that's awesome. You know, I went looking for these and I couldn't find them in any of the stores. So we have IGA supermarkets here. We have Superstore for groceries, and I could not find Kool-Aid. But Kim has sent me a whole slew of them. Look, in all different colors. And yeah. Love that. I'm going to be trying some of these Kool-Aid colors and mixing them. And one in a different brand, which I've never seen this one before. It's called, oh no, that's Kool-Aid 2. It's Sour on the Go. So I guess that's just a different collection that they have in Kool-Aid. So thank you so much for that, Kim. I really appreciate that. I think I've gone through everything. No, I haven't. I have a project bag that she's also included, and who doesn't need project bags? If you're a crafter in the yarn arts, project bags do not go astray. I can fill this with sock, I can fill this with hat, beanies, a couple of skeins. It's the perfect size for that kind of project. It has a drawstring to it, so love that so much. Awesome. I think that is it. Just gonna have a quick look. I did showcase all of them. Thank you so much, Kim. The other thing that I'm gonna talk about are upcoming, I guess, dates and things that are gonna be showcased in the next couple of episodes. So I was Skyping with my mum, and she was talking to me about our failed attempt to see each other again at Christmas. So before COVID, we had planned to go in to Australia to visit her. I haven't had Christmas with my folks for maybe 8 years. I have seen them since within that 8 years, but in particular, we haven't celebrated Christmas together. So this year, 2020, December, me and hubby were going to go down and have Christmas with them. But it's not going to happen. Well, at this point, we know it's not going to happen. So my mum was feeling terrible that I had turned 50 in amongst, the lockdown, and all of our plans were ruined for Christmas, where she was expecting to celebrate my birthday close to like maybe 8-9 months later. But she wanted to send me some yarn. So I said, great, I would love that, but please don't go ahead and spend too much because I have so much here. But if you are interested in doing that for me, I would really appreciate it. And send me some stuff that you find in Australia that I can't get here in Canada. And so she went out and she created me a little mystery box. So she teased me a little bit in 2 of them. She showcased 2 yarns that she had put in this box, and she's got 10 balls altogether, I guess. And I am so excited to receive that. So if that comes, I will do a definite unboxing of that. Also, we're approaching our summer vacation time, where hubby, as you know, he's a teacher, will be finishing up his class sessions this Friday, and we are looking at doing a few things. So we've planned a few things what we're going to be doing, and I'm going to be stepping away from doing recording for a while in this particular fashion. I will be still crafting on the time that we spend together, me and hubby, and we're just going to be rekindling and doing some fun things together. And it may mean that I might do some recording of what we get up to as well, if we go in the neighborhood and explore new things, or if we go to a cabin. That would be lovely to share with you some of those highlights. So, but for this little bit, I'm probably going to say that in 2 weeks' time, I will be coming back to the podcast on a regular basis. I'm just taking a little bit of a break. So with that, I want to say thank you to all the subscribers and fiber friends who have joined me in the last little while and commented on my videos. Thank you so much. All the support and encouragement is well received, so I really appreciate that. And anyone who's new and gotten to this far, thanks for joining us, and I hope that you will think about hitting that like button and joining our fiber friends here in subscribing. So with that, I will bid you farewell and have a great evening, day, morning, whenever you are watching this video, and I'll catch you up in the next one. Thank you. Bye.